Hey guys, welcome back to Spice Channel TV. Thank you for always joining us. If you're coming out here for the first time, please kindly subscribe and don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Thank you. Now let's talk about the Labour Party eternal crisis, the crisis rocking the Labour Party. In a recent development, the 29-man caretaker committee set up by the Abure State Governor, Alex Otti, and the Labour Party presidential candidate in the 2023 elections, Peter Obi, announced on Sunday that they will drag the embattled national chairman of the party, Julius Abure, to the Supreme Court over the leadership disputes in the party. And yes, my country people, they faulted the appeal court ruling affirming Abure's chairmanship. You see, the leadership crisis in the Labour Party deepened on Saturday as the 29-man caretaker committee established by Alex Otti and Peter Obi warned Julius Abure to stop presenting himself, to stop parading himself as the party's national chairman. They warned him severely. And in a statement issued in Abuja, the committee led by Senator Usman had declared that they remain in charge of the Labour Party's affairs by the virtue of the mandate entrusted to them by the party's stakeholders at an emergency convention. This development comes less than 24 hours after Abure's supposed victory at the Court of Appeal in Abuja, which vindicated the party's March 2024 National Convention held in Nnewi, Anambra State, and confirmed him as the national chairman. The court, presided over by Justice Hama Baka, relied on a power judgment delivered on November 13, 2024 in an appeal number. And they noted that, yes, they also, affirmed Abure's chairmanship status. But then the three-member panel led by Justice Baka issued its declaration on Friday, ruling on two separate appeals filed by Senator Esther Usman and the caretaker committee and INEC. The appellate court held that the Labour Party's leadership issues were not just stable, where the court ruled that any actions taken outside its jurisdiction were null and void. So the judgment of the court was delivered. However, the statement jointly signed by Senator Usman and the National Secretary of the Caretaker Committee, Darlington Nwokocha, criticized that government, insisted on retaining their mandate. Among other grievances, they allege that the Federal High Court lacked jurisdiction, made errors, and violated their right to a fair hearing. That the Federal High Court erred and acted without jurisdiction by entertaining the leadership dispute brought before it by Julius Abure. It also violated their right to fair hearing by failing to consider their counter affidavits opposing the suit before it. So they are quite pissed over this issue, and they have said they are going to drag Julius Abure to the Supreme Court. So after the judgment that affirmed Abure's leadership, they said no, they are not going to end there. They are going to take this matter to the Supreme Court. It will be recalled that following a leadership crisis that rocked the Labour Party, the National Executive Committee of the party resolved to remove Julius Abure as the national chairman. To fill the leadership vacuum, the party constituted a 29-member caretaker committee with the ex-minister Usman as the chairman and Darlington Nwokocha as the secretary. And this decision was the outcome of an expanded stakeholders meeting of the party that was hosted in Umuahia by Governor Alex Otti and chaired by Peter Obi. Guys, there appears to be no end in sight to the crisis rocking the Labour Party at the national level. And the Labour Party is known to be a third force movement of the political parties in Nigeria. And with what's happening in the party, their existence seems to be threatened, It is currently threatening their existence with all these eternal scrambles, the leadership crisis here and there. Before, we were seeing Lamidi Apapa, Julius Abure, they were having clashes, But now, this is Julius Abure's turn. Everybody is just trying to claim legitimacy of the party's leadership. Meanwhile, this issue ought to be resolved amongst themselves. But they've said no, they want to sell themselves out. They took the matter to court and the court gave its own ruling. But some persons are not happy with the court's ruling. Today we hear one story. This person is parading himself as the leader of the party. Another person is parading themselves as the leader of the party. And they keep on going to court over leadership issues. What is the root cause of this crisis? Nobody really knows. But all we know is that they are having leadership crisis. And all these things, if not sorted out now, it will surely put them in a very critical position ahead of 2027. It will definitely put them in a very critical position ahead of 2027. It is going to affect their performance in the upcoming elections if not properly managed. If not properly managed, they wouldn't be among political parties that would be considered as a force in the 2027 election, just like as they came and took Nigerians by surprise in the 2023 election. There is always struggle for control, struggle for influence, struggle for leadership position in the Labour Party. Everybody is just trying to become the leader. The Obi and the governor of Abia State, Alex Otti, they have their own gang. Abure people, they have their own gang. And because of this, some persons have kind of distance themselves from the Labour Party. Some persons gradually are distancing themselves for the Labour Party. And the Labour Party did not come up with, when they came with some sense of sanity. But with what's happening now, we don't really know where the party is headed for. But I'm sure if they don't get themselves together, well, their fate lies in their hands, because they are only tarnishing the party's image, and they are tarnishing their image in front of Nigerians, because Nigerians are always watching. Now tell me how a party with leadership crisis will convince people to vote for them if they are having leadership crisis amongst themselves. The stakeholders of the Labour Party should come together and discuss the future of the Labour Party before it is too late. Right now, what they ought to do is to look at ways on how they should strengthen their party structures. They ought to be mobilizing at the world levels, the local government levels, the state levels, even up to the national level. But unfortunately, they are so caught up in their leadership crisis, which is so unfortunate for them. So guys, I'm dropping here. Kindly share your thoughts on this in the comments section. Thank you.